This video is going to be a little bit long. It's mostly me rambling. It's just me putting together a drum rack and figuring it out. If it could help people, that's great. If not, I'm sorry. It's just me documenting what I'm doing and what I'm going through. That's all it is. But if it could help somebody with putting together a rack, then so be it. So enjoy this video. It's going to have time codes in the description. So if you want to skip around, you can, because it's mostly just me rambling. But if you want to see certain sections, that'll be down there. All right? Enjoy. Got something called a rack. This is a rack. And you put everything on it. You can put your drums on there, your cymbals. You can put the cameras on there. You can put the monitor, the computer. You can put everything you want on this rack. But I'll show you an example of what it does. It gets rid of your cymbal stands. So you can see everything's on it except for the two bass drums sitting on the floor. It cleans up everything. You get your floor space back because I'm running out of room because all the cymbal stands take up a lot of room. So it makes everything nice and clean. Everything's nice and stiff and sturdy with a rack. We've had a rack before. We got rid of it with the old drum set. I've been wanting one. I got a good deal on it. And even though I didn't have the money, but it was such a killer deal, I couldn't pass it up. And my whole drum set will be on a rack. It'll be really nice. So it's already been a couple of days because I got to work all the time. And I haven't really done anything in here. It's just sitting here empty. It's exactly the same as it was when I pulled the drum set out. It's just been sitting here. I went to go vacuum and the vacuum broke. I'm waiting for parts. That's going to be a couple more days. So I can't do anything anyway. So I've been cleaning the drums in the other room. And last time I swapped from the white drum set to the black drum set, I left all the cords plugged in and just kind of rerouted them. I decided I'm going to unplug everything. There's a couple I'm leaving in there because they're going to be the same. And I'm just going to rewire the whole thing. What gave me the idea of doing it different is if you come in this room, I don't know if the light will be light enough in here. There's an electronic drum set in here. And what I've done with this one, gave me the idea. When I ran all the cords, they're all Velcroed to the rack. And they all run up the rack on the other way. They all run this way. See this on the rack? And then they all come to the module and then they all get tied up right here. So I was just thinking, I was like, well, dang. Now we got a whole new rack. So what I was doing before was because it's a black drum set and it's all black wires, everything's Velcroed, nothing's zip tie. And I come down the toms and go across the bass drums and then go down and then to the box. That was all Velcroed together as like one big lump. It's very nice and neat and everything's nice and organized. Everything's labeled in here. Both ends of cables, microphones, everything we have the labeler. There's the labeler. I love my labeler. I use it on like everything all over the house. My wife hates it. But I was thinking, well, dang, we're going to have this. I'm going to try and run all the wires Velcroed to this, and then down the leg. And then we're going to have the sidebar. It'll go across the sidebar and then right into the box because that one sidebar on the right side is going to be in front of a box. I'll just run everything across or straight down the leg and underneath there. It'll be nice and neat. I think the rack's going to also help clean up the cords. So I decided to just kind of take everything apart and we'll go from there. But that's where we're at. I'm not doing anything. I can't do anything because I can't vacuum. I'm not just going to stick the stuff in here. Do it right. Do it once. Let me just take my time. I'm in no rush. I don't have to play drums. Jones and Bird drums. But it would be nice. And I want to start working on this month's songs. This month is April. They're going to be doing 80s week. I have a list of songs after they posted that. I went through some songs and I wanted to do some. I'm actually going to do some non-metal songs. That'll be different. I like to stay in my box, though. Stay in my lane, stay in my little box. I don't really like variety. I'm old. I'm a boomer. I'm not a boomer. I'm the generation after that, but I don't know. I'm just rambling, trying to say funny stuff, and it's not working. But yeah, this is going to stay here for a couple more days till we get parts for the vacuum. Then I'm going to start going. Sucks, though. This is just sitting here. I mean, Like, I didn't even come up here today. Just now, just to kind of go through the chords, make sure everything was labeled, and just kind of come up with a plan, really. I'm not really doing any work. I'm just kind of thinking about what do I want to do. It's a lot of work, though, if you go through this, but I think it's worth it in the end, getting the rack set up. Well, got vacuum parts today. It's been days, but I was able to clean, and now I'm trying to figure this out. So the problem is with a double bass kit, this one bar won't fit in the front. You can. If I turn those legs sideways, I can get this in front. I don't have to have this bar over there. So if I could put this here in the middle, it's fine, because the hi-hat is over there, and I don't really need anything over here except for a couple crashes or something. It would be nice to have it there, but I don't need it there. That one I want there because I want cymbals on there. This one I'm gonna put, you know, I could put a tom here and a tom here, and then all cymbals. And I can scoot this, but I'm just trying to figure it out. It's so far back there because I turned it. Because I have this corner, which is supposed to be over here. This whole thing should be like turned, so that wouldn't be so far back, but I don't know, I'm gonna sit here and figure this out. It's harder with a double bass kit. Or if you have 4 bars, that way you have 2 going across here and then 1 on each side. This is a little different because it's only 3, but this is kind of what I'm trying to go for. We'll see. This is gonna take a while. Thing's huge. This thing's huge. It's so awesome though. So this is what I came up with for now. I really don't know if this is going to work, so I hook everything up. Might change the whole thing. This is a process. This is taking a long time. It's not like a few minutes type of thing. So I put the middle of it in the middle of the bass drums. I had to move the bass drums around. I'm not in the center of the room anymore, but that's okay. I wanted to go this way a little bit more. It's not symmetrical to the room, but it makes sense for that side. I want to try and get some cymbals over there, because I want one over the floor toms, but it's hard because that's also where the computer is. But I think now with the rack, I might be able to do that and keep it out of the way of the monitor. I might also drill new holes and raise the monitor up. We'll see. But this is where it's at for now. It's in the center, and I flipped the leg this way, so it's in between the bass drums. The hi-hat stand still has to connect to here, so I have to move this back and forth. Also need to figure out heights. I just put everything all the way up for now. And then this I could still angle this in or out more. It's got a little bit of space before it actually hits the wall. But for now, I think this is a pretty decent position. I got the bars almost over where the tom holes are. This one's way in, but because I'm gonna try and get the toms onto this on the rack. I'll probably have them right here, one here and one here. We'll see. The floor toms are going to sit on the floor, so I might have to spin that leg. We'll see. That's what I've come up with for now. This is going to take a long time. If you've never had a rack before and you're thinking about getting one, you kind of start over like as if you just got your drum set. When you're first setting up your drum set from scratch, put the seat where you want it in the room. You put the seat wherever, you know I know I want to be not quite at the edge of the carpet, kind of in the middle of the room, and I sat the seat there at the right height and everything. And then what you do is you pull the bass drum with the pedal on it where you want it. You sit in the seat, get these where you're comfortable. Just the 2 bass drums or your double bass pedal, whatever it may be, get those comfortable. Then put the snare where you want it. And sit down with your feet on the pedals, position your snare. Then put your toms. I'm doing the floor toms first. Usually do the toms where you want them. Then put the hi-hat where you want it, and then put the cymbals where you want them. But you always start with your feet and your seat. These 3 pieces are the main pieces you start with. So if you get a rack, you do the same thing. You set up the bass drums, you set up the snare drum. I went for those. But what you do is first you put the bass drums down because you got to figure out where the rack goes. This one I have a double bass kit, so I had to set this in a slightly different spot than normal. Normally that's the front, but I had to turn it. But anyway, then I put the rack down. Then I put the floor toms down. So you do the bass drums, the snare, the rack,
and then the floor toms. Now I'm just going to figure out where I want everything. It's a chore, it takes a while, you know, and then you got to position everything, but I just wanted to explain that in case you've never done this before. Well, believe it or not, this took 6.5 hours just to get it to this point. It's got all the drums and all the cymbals. However, I could not get the drums onto the rack. I think it's because of these arms. They're just like this. It needs one more joint to kind of move. I couldn't figure out how, I really couldn't figure it out. I spent 1 hour on this tom alone trying to get it on the rack, and I just couldn't do it. My hands hurt from tightening, loosening, tightening, loosening, tightening, loosening, moving stuff around, moving these bars up and down, up and down, up and down, trying to figure out where to go. It's more of a mental thing, not just a physical thing, just trying to figure it out. Should this be up? Should this be down? You know, should this be this way, this way? I mean, you have a lot of options when it comes to clamps and the bars, but it pretty much looks almost like it just did. I did something a little bit different with the ride. It's tilted down a little and it's higher up. I had it really low before, but it was also mounted to the bass drum. I mounted the toms back on the bass drums, how they were. I mounted the cowbell back on the bass drum where it was. I put the two splashes up. One's on the hi-hat, one's on the tom arm. I put the hi-hat back onto the bass drum. And I added that cymbal over there. But it's pretty much how I had it without the rack, except obviously no stands. This, I'm not sure what to do with yet. It comes this way. I had it like coming across this way, but then when I started putting everything together, because I can come all the way to here where the hi-hat's mounted, it can go all the way this way and kind of stay out of the way. But it's okay where it is. It's fine. But it looks kind of cool. I'm not as happy with it as I thought it would be. There was some problems I had with the squares. I know there's going to be no slippage. There's no slippage on the, because it's not round. However, the round tubes would have given a little bit better options as far as like preciseness. But this is where we're at for now. I still got to redo all the microphones, all the cabling. I'm really going to try and maybe get the cabling on the rack and run it down that way and then across the rack and into the box. We'll see. That's just my thoughts for now. I really don't know. I might take the monitor, unmount it from the wall. It's got lag bolts into the stud, but I might lift it up because when you're sitting here, now that I have the cymbal here, but I also have the rack here. So I might just move the monitor up and then I can still move it closer this way. It can come probably all the way to here over this cymbal. The problem I'm going to have, the box can actually go anywhere in the room. The box can be anywhere as long as it connects to the computer. In the other room, I have extra cords for it. So like if I was to put the box in way over there, I have enough cabling to run it to the computer. That's no problem. The problem I'm going to have is when I'm doing editing or whatever on the audio, I have the keyboard here, I put the mouse here and use it here. But then when I play, I move it, but I need access to the mouse for when you make mistakes. I can pause the computer, delete what I just did, and start over. What I usually do though is I put the mouse on top of the stand, and that's where I also put my drinks. I cannot put that here anymore because now the rack is there. So we need to figure something out. Maybe put a table here, something. I don't know. A shelf. I don't know. I got to figure that out next. That, the microphones, and the cables. And I tried this. I don't know how it'll work yet. We have to do a test. I mounted the microphone stand onto the rack for the overheads. Now, I don't know if, you know, it's going to shake. It's going to shake. That's no problem. I'm just wondering if I smack a cymbal, is the vibration going to travel down the tube onto the rack and then up into the microphone, and it'll pick up the vibrations. And because the whole rack is connected, if I hit a cymbal over there, I'm wondering if it's going to vibrate the overheads from over there. That'll have to be a test we do in the future. If it doesn't work, no big deal. I just put it back the way it was. I was just thinking it gets rid of a lot of stuff on the floor by not having the overhead microphone stand sticking out right here. It's been a long day. My hands are killing me. Kind of happy with it. Could be better. Could be better. But I'm not complaining. We got rid of we got a ton of floor space back. This is sticking out just like when I had it earlier, when I pushed it in, it was over there, so it gives me more room to walk around right here. I did move the entire drum set to the right as far as like from this camera's point of view. The middle of the room is actually here, and that's where I had this cymbal was right in the center of the room. So it's only off by like, 6 to 8 inches from where it was anyway. It's not that big of a deal. I wanted a little bit extra room over here so I could walk over here. I couldn't walk over here before. Plus all the cymbal stands were sticking way out. Now I could walk over here and work on this stuff. It's easier than like crawling underneath or something. But I think the next move is going to be to scoot this up. Let's take a look. Yeah, there's the monitor mount. I think what I'm going to do is just move it up one bolt's length up so that this raises over the cymbal, and I can move this over there more. Plus, even if I don't move it over there and I leave it here, it still needs to get away from that cymbal. It needs to be up higher. That's not that hard of a project though. It's a little bit of a pain, but not hard. But this is the table. I don't know where to put it. I don't need the table here. It's simply just holding the box and it holds my drinks. Other than that, I don't need the table there. And I didn't want to push the rack more forward because we're at the front of the carpet, because otherwise you could push this forward and get that away, and I can stick the table against the wall between the rack and the wall, but it's not going to fit now. I would have to move this pretty far forward, and I'm not going to do that. I like where it's at. In the room, I like where it's at. I could walk around. I don't want to be one of those drummers stuck in a corner or against a wall, and then I got to kind of creep across into my own chair. It's like, no, I own the house. I want to just be able to walk in, sit down. I don't want to be doing all that climbing garbage like other people do. Oh, on to the next thing, which, yeah, the monitor's going to have to be the next thing. The only thing really wrong with this rack is a couple of these booms that it came with. So everything's nice and tight, but some of these move like this. They move, and it's the little set screw or whatever. I don't know what's in there. I can't see with the flashlight or anything. Is there a screw in there? I tried every single Allen wrench, and also, I don't know what you call them. They're not Torx, but they're kind of like that. I stuck all those in there. Nothing seems to fit. I didn't know. Does anybody have a way to fix that? Drill it, or maybe there's nothing. Maybe there's supposed to be a screw right there and I just don't see it. Maybe because there's threads. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. If someone knows how to fix this, let me know. But there's a couple of these that it came with that do that. I do have a tap and die set. Should I drill that out and then, put the threads back in there and just stick my own screw in there? I made a whole video when I was putting this together, but I figured while I'm doing this, I'll show it real quick. This is what it looks like behind the curtains. This used to be just a bedroom. All those holes, those are from different shelves that were up. This wall looks like this all the way down. This whole wall's checkerboard with that stuff. The curtains cover all this. This is the mount for the TV, and that's the electrical for it, all running down there. That little tiny cable is the headphone cable, which runs underneath there, and it goes up. There's a pole behind there that holds this curtain up, and it comes out by animal. That's where the in-ears plug in, and it runs all the way down here and comes out here. Here's the box on the floor right now. This is the USB and the Ethernet cable that have to run from the box to the computer. So that all goes up the wall. There's the electrical. That all gets Velcroed together, and then it's just all mangled and mounted to the arm. You just don't see all this garbage. But I'm going to try and move this to like here. I'm also going to try something different. Depends on vibration too. This all needs to be tested. I took this camera mount put it on a clamp on the bar, on the rack. I'm going to get a pipe that fits here and put a camera right here. I've got this camera mount right here on this cymbal stand. Now I know when I hit the cymbal, this is going to vibrate quite a bit. Even though it's on the rack, it might vibrate too much. If it does, and I don't like it, I will stick it in this clamp right here. So it looks like that. This will kind of look like that. And then I mounted the roll bar mount onto the round bar right there so that we get the tom view. This all needs to be tested, all the vibrations and all that stuff. We'll see what happens. I'm just documenting what I'm doing. We'll find out. This might all change. I started doing some microphone work. I put the 2 bass drum mics in there. This is going to be velcroed up like this. Straight up there, that'll be velcroed like this, so it's just straight up, and then it's all going to come across like doof, like that. And it'll all come down here somewhere. I'm not sure if I want to run it down this pole and then across that pole like that into the box. And I'm not sure where to put the box yet. I might move it to here because with the rack there's a big gap right here. All that space right there. I can wrap up all the cords right there and have the box sitting right here. Because I don't need to access the box once everything's plugged in. I mean, if I need to add more microphones or something, I could do that later. I could even turn the box this way and face the microphones out this way. That way, if I need to, I can have a cover on it so you don't see it in the cameras, and I can access the front of it from here. That's not that big of a deal. I don't need to access the box. I'm just trying to make everything nice and neat. But then I got to lengthen all the cords and stuff. But that's no problem. There's plenty of extra cord to lengthen. I got to do the same thing with this. I'm going to move this up. All them cords need to be lengthened down. Just want to show where I'm at real quick. This is where we're at. It's looking good. I keep moving things little by little. Like I keep sitting down and I move things little bit. I got the monitor way back here. I ordered another one of these, this piece. So you have these end caps right here. These pop off. And then you could buy these that go on there, and it adds an extra clamp for the top of the tube. So I got this camera mounted on this one, which I got. This is actually from a Broom. It's black, so that's good. Got that one mounted there. If that doesn't work, I'm putting it in that clamp to get this angle. It's too far this way, I think. And then the front one is right here. I think they're too close, like almost the same angle, even though that's for the ride. So we're waiting on that to arrive. But while it was, I took this end cap off because I'm going to put it here. This is the top to the computer table that I used to have for the white drum set. This was on wheels and it moves around. And it has the mouse clamp. I put the mouse thing here for the mouse. I mean, I usually use it here on the drum anyway. But for like when I'm playing, that stuff will go here. The keyboard will go up there. My drinks will go on there. This will go back like this. So I have my stuff on. This will be like a table. So that'll come in handy. I'm just trying to put everything on the rack. Then I got this, just leave the monitor there. And it's really cool because I can actually just walk around the drum set without tripping on stuff. Right now I'm working all the cordellini. That's all nice and that's all done right there. I just started miking everything up. I'm gonna run this straight down. I'm gonna try and run everything across the rack right here and then down the pole. I had it going the other way. Down the pole is actually better. I moved the box to here. I would love to flip it around the other way, but it didn't work correctly. I can actually put the box there. All the cables will plug into it right there. I don't want to cover it though. It's gonna look bad. But I'll figure something out to make that look a little neater, or have it on a little box, something, because I'm not going to use this table anymore. This table was holding all that stuff, and then these cover up all the cords so you don't see anything. But like if I can figure out maybe get half of that under there, we'll figure it out. But that's where we're at for now. And I got both splashes up, and I got an extra crash up there. Got the PST7 over here. So we're slowly adding things. I got most of the regular drum set and the extra cymbal, the cowbell, the 2 splashes, and the tambourine. I still got There's like 2 more 16 crashes and a 12-inch China. But I'm not going to put those up. We don't really need them. I was hoping to get another cymbal here, but I really want this table and the monitor there. But I think that's enough cymbals for now anyway. I don't really need those other ones. I don't use them. I like the bigger cymbals. But I wanted an extra one here for when I'm doing tom stuff. There was a song I did. I can't remember which song it was. It was recently. It was for Metal March. And I was doing a tom thing, and then I got to come all the way over here and hit this cymbal. And I'm doing and I missed notes on the toms simply to get to the cymbal in time. So I wanted one here. Also, I was thinking about playing Melt With You, that Don't Stop, I'll Stop the World and Melt With You, because it goes here and then I would rather have a crash by the tom, so I don't have to go so far over there. I could just go right here. Not my favorite cymbal. It's not bad. PST7s aren't bad. They're what is this? This is a B8 material. So I'm not too happy with that because I really hate Sabian B8s. I think these are a little bit better even though it's a B8. But we'll see. We'll see. Because I moved the overheads, I gotta redo those and make sure it's picking up all the extra stuff that I put on here. Before it was just the hi-hats and the cymbals. Now I've added that and the splashes and everything. I gotta make sure that the overheads work. That's one thing bad about it. Like these clip on, they're just right in the same positions they were. It's perfect. Those I moved, and I hate having to redo microphones. Once you have everything set and then you move it, your mix gets all jacked up. But just wanted a little update. I did yesterday. I took a 2-hour nap. I watched the Formula One race in the middle of the night from Japan. It ended at about 3 a.m. and then I came back up here and did more work for a couple hours, and then I went to bed. And I just keep coming up here doing little tiny tedious things that take time. It takes a long time. I'm just taking my time. I am pretty much done. Everything's done. I still have to do a sound test, but as far as putting everything in its place, putting it together, that's done. I even got the software up and running. Computer's all running again. TV's good. Everything's loaded. I ran these. This is a camera mount on a, whatchamacallit, this is a microphone stand, because I use microphone stands with these on them anyway to attach the GoPro to. I don't use regular tripods. If you are going to use a tripod type of thing, use a microphone stand, because then you just buy these little pieces that go on here, and it's a smaller footprint on the floor than a tripod is. They take up less room, and they go like way higher. They'll go as high. It's like this. It's a microphone stand just like that. And when I go to some venues where I'm trying to do video, I'll put it up as high as these overheads are. This will be like, these go to like, I don't know, 7 feet or more. That's where it's just a microphone stand. But anyway, I ran all the cables on top of the rack. Now, if you've ever seen Tim Peterson's stuff, I'll leave a link in the description to his YouTube channel. Go watch him. He's a phenomenal drummer. But what I did with the cables, I did get all the cables on the rack. I got all the cameras on the rack. This black tube right here, this piece of metal, it's from a dollar store broom. I'll show that to you guys. This is a broom with a black handle. It's not metal, but it's not wood. I don't know. It's like really thin metal, I guess. This is from the dollar store. It was $1.25, but I wanted the black for the cameras to put on the rack. So that's what I used. But what I did was I simply just bundled them together. And the reason why I mentioned Tim, he didn't put them on the rack. They're on the floor. They have like these cable organizers and they're flat. So if I really wanted to, you could run them all next to each other across the width of the rack. So they're like that. I'm too lazy to do that. That's too much work. I just bundled them and kind of squeezed them and Velcroed them. Everything's Velcroed. I don't use zip ties because if something changes, you just undo it. This is the other camera mount. I moved it already anyway because that angle was kind of dumb. This is the broom handle from the dollar store. I got the other camera mounted on the vertical pole. I got the USB hub mounted. I zip tied that to the rack. And I really like the hub because I transfer files from USB sticks to it. I plug my phone into it and transfer to and from the phone. That's all running down here. All the electrical is on the floor right here. I made this a lot neater than it used to be. All the electrical is behind the curtain. It's all plugged in right there. And it simply runs out here. I got that GoPro goes into this. This is a triple-ended extension cord. So this box is in there and 2 GoPros are plugged into there. Now none of that takes a lot of power before people say anything. You're overloading it. No, the GoPros don't hardly take any power. But this is all the wires coming down the rack. Then they come down the pole and into the box. And that's probably messy to some people. I don't think it's that bad. I'm just gonna leave it just like that. It's facing outward. There's tons of room here now. I can access this very easily, not from the seat, but I normally don't need to access the box unless I'm adding a microphone or I'm doing something with headphones. Other than that, the box just sits there. I use it like an I/O box. So the bass drum ones, they come up and across. These go straight down now and across. Everything's nice and neat. I also, with that black extension cord, the reason why I got that, I went and bought that for like 10 bucks, is I found this in the other room. There's this power strip and it's got USBs on it too, but I use the regular plugs. And I was like, man, that's pretty cool. That'll fit right here. I ran the electrical cable under the bass drum because there's a gap under the bass drum, and then it comes out right here. One's plugged into the box, and that's the main cable for that. So it's all nice and centralized in here. I ran 2 GoPros into there. I ran this middle one. The only thing wrong with this is the cord is red, but I had to use it because that's what comes with it, and it came with this plug. And it's USB-C to USB-C, because with the 10s, you can't use a regular USB. It has to be C to C. These require more power than a 7. The other cameras are 7s. These 2 right here are 10s. The other thing that's good about putting the electrical in a center down here is when I had the cameras hooked up, I had one extension cord coming from back here going across to run the cameras over here. And then I had another extension cord back here running this way to run this camera, and then that camera was already plugged into another one over there. So I had other cords running across, like this cord right here. That's the length of the cord. That's the room mic, which is way over here. It goes all the way down and all the way around. If it was longer, I could go all the way to the corner, run it to there, and come out with those. But I can't. It's not long enough, even though that's like a super long cable. That one comes across. I kind of don't like that. But hey, it's way better than it used to be. So it wasn't just cymbal stands. I also had some things running across the floor. And when I had all the weights holding down the cymbal stands, everything's gone now. It's nice and neat in here. I love it. But look at the room. Look at that. There's so much. I could just walk in right now and I could just walk this way and I don't even have to like turn. I could simply just walk. There's so much room here. I probably should have, knowing there was going to be extra room and no cymbal stands, I probably should have put this back in the middle, which is only 6 to 8 inches to the left of our perspective, just because it'll give this just a little bit extra that way. Because I do have to go sideways right here. It's not that bad though. But if guests or somebody comes in, because we do have, when people visit us, I do let them up here and play. But I just don't want them tripping on that or that. I gotta tuck that under the carpet. But this is what it looks like. It's pretty awesome. It's really awesome. My wife doesn't really care about this stuff. She's got her own stuff going on, but she did say, hey, I want to see what you've been doing for the last few days. This has taken 3 days. I said 4 to 5. I'm still waiting on this piece though. So this is gonna be a table. And I got the mouse thing right here where this mouse will go, and I'm just waiting for the little mount underneath there because this is just sitting on top. It's just sitting there, like I can't really put anything on it, it'll fall. But I moved this cymbal over so I can bring this closer if I need to. But it looks really cool. That's actually the last step. But my wife came in here, was asking, how many cymbals do you have? And she counted them, and I'm like, There's more in the closet. We could still put more on here. But there's two 16s. One's a 16A thin. One's a 16A custom thin. Or the other one's a fast. That one's a thin. There's a 20-inch ride in there. And there's a 12-inch China in there. So we still have more stuff in the closet. I don't need to put it all up. I don't use them anyway. I like the bigger cymbals. But everything's good to go. Everything looks good. Everything's nice and clean. It's like I just redid the whole room except for the curtains. It's like I just started from scratch. But I'm really happy with the way it turned out. I think it looks really cool. We have all this floor space now. I just think that looks pretty darn awesome. It's all nice and neat. Now see, and the cameras aren't going to pick all this stuff up. Most of this is done to get room in here. But you know, when you're looking at the cameras, this is like the front angle right here. You don't see any of that stuff on the floor or the cables and stuff. But even if it did, at least it'll look nice and neat if it appears on camera somehow. One thing I got to mention about the cymbals, I always turn them. I usually turn the logo facing this way at the beginning of every video, of every take. So if I mess up and I have to do it over, I put all the cymbals back where I started and start over. The ride's different though. I usually have the ride facing me, but I decided to turn it this time. It's going to be upside down. It's going to look stupid. I don't like that, but I've been playing it so much in the same spots. The black is gone right here, and all the white from the nylon tips is all right here. So just for some preservation, I turned it upside down. So I'm going to be hitting on this side now, opposite of that side, make that last. And then if I have to, I'll turn it again. But my ride's really tight anyway, it doesn't spin. The other thing I don't like is this Evans logo is kind of upside down. If you look at the drums, I always like the logos facing up. And I can gladly turn that around, but when I first put the heads on, I put all the drums on the floor, I simply go by the badge. There's a badge on there that says Pearl. I face all badge to badge. But this particular drum, it has another badge opposite the other one. There's another one on the other side. So I can turn that. I'm just too lazy at the moment. But it does look weird how one's upside down. I don't like that. And I don't like having this upside down. But I have to do that with this. I don't really want to ruin this cymbal for many years because I love this cymbal. This has nothing to do with the rack, but because I'm sitting here talking about the cymbals, people really hate the pitch blacks when they came out. We loved them. The crashes were a little bit dark and they didn't ring out very well. The splash, that one didn't sound good at all. The hi-hats were 15-inch. You know, they're actually 15-inch master sounds with black coating on them. So if you find somebody that hates the pitch black cymbals and they're getting rid of them for cheap, pick those up. The master sounds are expensive. People don't know that. But the ride, of course, sounds awesome. That's why I use it. And the 18-inch China, we had that. That sounded good. So most of the pitch black cymbals did not sound good, except for the ride, the hi-hat, and the China. Other than that, they were kind of garbage, but when you talk to other drummers online, they hate them. But this cymbal right here, this is killer. Everybody always comments on how good it sounds. Two more things I need to find out. I need to figure out where to put the duck back. It's not going to go back here because that was on a cymbal clamp that was on this cymbal sticking up. That's all that was a cymbal clamp. So I need to find a new place for him. And baby animal. It's a Muppet baby. So I was playing around with some stuff. See how the curtains are just kind of hanging on the floor? And that's fine. It looks just fine. But what I figured out as I was playing around earlier, I took this vinyl squeegee. It's a squeegee that you install vinyl with. And I tucked, like I do with the wires, I tucked them into the crack, like where the carpet meets the baseboard or whatever you call it. And it actually makes it still looks nice. I mean, look, it still looks nice. But it actually makes it look like it has more room. This one has to hang because the door's in the way. But I tucked all this in, and it looks like the floor actually gained room because the curtains ain't hanging. They were hanging way out here, kind of like this. It's just hanging here. You can't tuck this, obviously, because the door. So I'm going to go around the whole room where there's curtains and finish tucking this in and see what it looks like. I mean, hey, if I don't like it, I can pull it back out. I think it makes it look cool. The problem is I can't do it exact, so it kind of pulls them tight, so the pleats kind of disappear. That one looks good. This one don't. We'll have to play with it.
Got the duck up right there. This, the hi-hat camera will pick it up because let me put this in front of there. It'll look like this. So that duck will always be on the camera. And the duck looks like me. It's got long brown hair because my hair is actually brown. I mean, it's gray now, but... And then it's got drumsticks. And he's smiling. So that's supposed to be like me as a duck. Just got to figure out where to put animal. Baby animal. We got regular animal right there. And this is actually a Muppet baby. It's an animal Muppet baby. I just got to figure out where to put him. And I really wanted to say thank you, Logan and Kayla, for sending these presents to me. The big animal, the duck, and this are from them. Thank you for sending gifts. I just cleaned the ceiling fan because I noticed as I'm editing this video how dirty it was. That's disgusting. I should have done that before I made the video. I didn't think about looking up. I was cleaning the floor, didn't think about looking at the ceiling. So are you looking to buy a rack? Why do you need one? Do you need one? Do you just want one? If you have a small drum set, even if it's just a 5-piece and like a ride, a hi-hat, and a crash, I mean, you can always get a rack. That's fine. I wouldn't say get one, though. It's too small unless you're really in a small room. This room's pretty small, but it fits this big drum set. If you have a lot of cymbals like we do, get a rack. You're going to just eliminate your cymbal stands. If you have a big drum set and not a lot of cymbals, I wouldn't get it. I would get it mostly for the cymbals. Now, if you're a gigging person, yeah, you want a rack for quick setup and tear down, and everything will always be in the same spot. This rack right here is huge. Our other one, the Gibraltar one, we were able to move a 5-piece drum set very easily. The only thing we had to do to the rack was take off the ride, and we were able to fold it up and move it from room to room when we needed to. And then we just put the bass drum back on the floor, the snare, the floor tom. The toms were actually mounted to the rack, and put the ride back on. It was like really fast. It's heavy. You need a bunch of people to pick it up because you're picking up all the cymbals. It's heavy. But you gotta, if you're in the market for a rack or you've been thinking about getting one and you don't know, think about those things. Do you have to have one? Do you need one? Do you just want one? I always recommend them, but if you have a smaller drum set and not a lot of cymbals, don't waste your money. You know, make your money work for you. That racks are expensive. You can buy, you know, a couple different cymbals just for the price of the rack alone. So let's talk about the pricing. What did I buy this for? How much did I pay for this exact rack? Also, I bought this sight unseen off the internet. This is a Pearl DR513C. C means curved. If it doesn't have the C after it, they're straight. These are in the high 600s at Sweetwater. Just the 3 bars and 4 clamps for like in the high 6s. And this is the chrome rack, the silver rack. If you get the black, it's $800 or $900 for the rack and 4 clamps. I got this full entire rack, 10 clamps. There's 2 different kinds, and 8 booms. These aren't cheap either. The rack also came with 2 of these on it. These are $20 each, so that's not too bad, $20 to $30 each. Clamps are like $40 each. It was on the Guitar Center, which I'm not a Guitar Center person. I really don't like them. They have a used section on their website. This was on their used section listed as excellent. Sure enough, when you look at this, it's like brand new. There's no scratches on it. There's no dents. It's like as if somebody bought it and kind of held onto it and gave it back up. But it came with all of that. After tax, after shipping, $690. I think it was like $692. All of it. That's almost less than what just the rack is costing new. And this looks brand new. I mean, I'm serious. It looks like it wasn't even used. It was $629 is what they listed it for. And then I asked a dude about shipping. And he said, oh, it'll probably be around $60. I'm like, okay, that's cool, because I didn't know if I'd have to go pick it up. He looks it up in the computer, $18 to ship this to here from New Jersey. And I'm like, dude, I'm happy with that number. I don't want you to get in trouble. Go look that up in the computer and
verify that. Make sure you got the right rack. Make sure you're looking at the right numbers. He said it says $18. I'm like, ship it, dude, because I wasn't sure if I had to make a road trip to Jersey. I was ready to make a road trip and pick this up because it was that cheap. That would have been an 8-hour one-way drive. So 8 hours, go pick it up, maybe spend the night somewhere, 8 hours back home. Would have costed a lot more than $18. So thanks for watching. I know I rambled a lot. I normally am just documenting stuff that I do and I throw it on YouTube. If you watch it, you watch it. If you don't, you don't. I don't care. Unsubscribe. I'm just throwing stuff up, random stuff up there. It'll have time codes so you guys can skip around if you want to talk more about that. I just wanted to show how I did it, how I'm doing it. Maybe it'll help somebody that's buying a rack instead of just throwing their cables on the floor. Oh, I didn't think about putting them on the rack. Different little things like that. And the stuff you have to go through to get it to this point. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And people are like, just throw the clamp on there. Put the boom on there. And it's like, well, the clamp can go in 4 different directions. There's also 2 different types of clamps. You know, and if you want it back here, you're talking about that much different to where this post goes. And then you find out, well, that's not going to work. Let me flip it around. Like this one's flipped around. This one's on that side for whatever reason. You know, when I'm trying it different ways, that's the way that worked better for that particular cymbal. I don't know. It's one of those things. It's a trial and error. You don't just go, well, I'll just stick this clamp here. That'll work. You got to figure out where to do it, and then you want to really get these in the position they want. That's the advantage to the round rack. If we needed to move this just a 1/4 of an inch that way, you can just loosen it and do that. You cannot do that with the square tubes. However, I think the square tubes are going to be a better solution for what I want. So all I need to do now is play. I'm finally done. That was a lot of hours. That was a lot of work. So this is going to be the first time I've played, oh man, 2 weeks? Over 2 weeks? I don't even know. It's been a long time. I did the Metal March, and even though I was unlocking them in the last week of March, I wasn't playing. I played that like that weekend before. So it's been a long time. It's been like 3 weeks. And then I took all this apart. So let's break in this thing right. Let's rock.